So hello students, in the last class we have discussed about dynamic memory allocation technique used in C++. We have seen how to dynamically allocate memory, we have seen how to dynamically allocate object, we have also seen about a very important concept, this pointer. So what is this pointer? This pointer contains to the address of current object from which member function has been called. So these all things we have discussed in the last class thoroughly. Now, today we have to discuss about two things, copy constructor, and then we'll move for polymorphism. So, what is copy constructor? Let's see. As its name implies, copy constructor. So, what was constructor? Constructor was used to initialize the value of object. Copy constructor is used to copy the value of one object into another object. Now, before moving to the copy constructor, I want to share a conceptual things with you. Look, we can pass anything as an argument inside a constructor. Integer, character, float, double, whatever you want, you can pass. I said we can pass any data type as an argument inside the constructor. But we cannot pass object as an argument inside the constructor. Take care of this point very carefully. We can pass anything as an argument inside the constructor, but we cannot pass object as an argument. However, we can pass the reference of the object as an argument inside a constructor. We cannot pass object as an argument inside a constructor, but we can pass the reference of the object inside a constructor. And the constructor which receives the reference of the object as an argument is known as copy constructor. The constructor which receives the reference of the object inside as an argument is known as copy constructor. So copy constructor is a constructor which creates an object by initializing it with the object of the same class. So this is used for copy the value of one object into another object. If a copy constructor is not defined in a class, by default C++ gives a copy constructor. You can create your own also. So what is the syntax of copy constructor? So you are looking class name because it's a constructor. Then inside argument, you are receiving object as a reference. So remember about how to create a reference variable. We use ampersand symbol. So it is not receiving just object. It cannot receive object as an argument, but it is receiving the reference of the object, and then it will use to copy the value of one object into another. So how? Look at the example. There are two private members x and y in the given class point. Now there is a constructor which is receiving two integers x1 and x2 and initializing it to x1, x and y. That is a normal parameterized constructor. Now look at copy constructor. It is creating a reference of an object and writing x equals to p2.x, y equals to p2.y. Even though you do not create, C++ create it for you. Now you have created two more functions, get x, get y, using which you are returning the value of x and y. Why you have created this get x, get y? Because I want to print the value of x and y inside the main, and x and y both are private, cannot be accessed. So that's why I have created two functions, get x and get y, and then returning the value of x and y. Now let's come on to the main. You have written point p1 10 15. Tell me which constructor will be called. The constructor which is receiving two integer value will be called, and 10 will be received in x1 and 15 will be received in y1. Now you have created another object p2 and you have written p2 equals to p1. While you have written this, automatically copy constructor will be called, and what will happen, p1 will be passed as a argument. A new reference has been created of p1 as a p2, and then the value of x and y is equal to the p2.x, p2.y, and this xy belongs to the object p2. So the same value will be copied into the p2. I said even though you are created it or not, that will automatically created by the C++. If you want, you can create your own. Now you are printing p1.x and p1.y, that will be 10 and 15, and you are printing p2.x, p2.y, that will also print 10 and 15, and you are looking, you are not printing p1.x, p1.y and p2.x, p2.y, that is in double quote, because you cannot print it. These are private members. You are calling p1.getX function and p1.getY function. You are calling p2.getX function and p2.getY function. So the same output is given here. That's very simple. I told copy constructor is a constructor which is used to copy the value of one object into another. A constructor receives any argument but cannot receive object as a argument. However, it can receive the reference of the object, and the constructor which receives the reference of the object as a argument is known as copy constructor. Now, function overloading. Actually, polymorphism. Recall about polymorphism, and I said polymorphism means one thing, multiple work. Overloading is a synonym of polymorphism. When you are going to do more than one task by using a single thing, that is known as overloading. Now, what is function overloading? When you are going to create more than one function with the same name which is going to perform multiple tasks, that is strange. If you will create more than one function with the same name, and when you will call, which function will be called? For this, you need to vary their arguments. So function overloading means two or more functions have the same name but different parameters. Parameters should not same. If the parameter is also same, that is a compile time error. The name of function will remain same, but their parameter arguments will be different. Then you can say that is a function overloading. In the previous example, we have seen we have created more than one constructor in a program. So if you will recall, parameter was changed. That's why that program was running, and that is actually constructor overloading. So for example, you are looking, I have created three functions of same name, my function. The first function is receiving integer x, second function is receiving float x, and third function is receiving two double arguments. So when you will pass an integer value, first function will be called. When you will pass a float value, second function will be called. And when you will pass two double value, third function will be called. Yeah, one more thing that you need to take care in function overloading, return type does not matter. Two things matters only, the name of function should remain same and their arguments should be changed. So in the given example, I have created two absolute functions. First function is receiving float value, second function is receiving integer value. At the time of calling, when you will pass integer value, first when you will pass integer value, second absolute function will be called, and when you will pass float value, first absolute function will be called. So that's very simple. That is called overloading, and you can overload any function, whatever you want. Now, what about operator overloading? And that is a very important concept in C++. Look, you cannot apply operator onto the user defined type with the same syntax which is applied on basic types. For example, there are two integer variables, int a1, a2. You can write a1 plus a2. That is absolutely right, because that is the meaning of plus, that is used to add two values. But you have created a class student, and there are two objects a1 and a2. Can you write a1 plus a2? Can you add two objects? Impossible. Can you add two variable of a structure? Not possible. Means you cannot apply operator onto the user defined type with the same syntax which is applied on basic types. But if I want to apply onto the user defined type also, I need to provide a special definition to an existing operator. And to provide such a special definition to an existing operator is known as operator overloading. Look, meaning of overloading is whatever the work you have assigned, you are doing something beyond that. You are doing something extra. That is overloading. So operator overloading means you are going to provide a new definition to an existing operator to perform some additional task. The question is how it will done, how we will provide. We'll see one by one, don't worry. So to provide a special definition to an existing operator to perform some additional task. And what the additional task I want to perform? I want to apply the operator onto the user defined type with the same syntax which is applied on basic type. Generally, it is not possible, but I want to do this. And for this, we need to overload this operator. So it is written in the slide in C++, it's possible to change the way operator works for user defined type, I said. The meaning of an operator is always same for the variable of basic type like float, double, integer. So plus will be plus always. Even though you are going to give an additional meaning, that doesn't mean that basic meaning is going to change. However, for user defined type, you can redefine the way operator works. For example, if there are two objects of a class that containing a string as its data member, and you want to provide when you will plus this two object that should be concatenated. You can perform, you want to write plus, but you want that it should happen minus. You can do it. You can give any definition to an existing operator. How? That we will see. This feature in C++ program that allow programmer to redefine the meaning of operator is known as operator overloading. Now the question arises, how we will do this? For doing this, we need to provide a new definition to an existing operator. How to provide a new definition for an existing operator? To provide a new definition to an existing operator, C++ has given us a special function known as operator function. What is the syntax of operator function? Yeah, the name of function is operator. The syntax of operator function is return type, operator, symbol. Symbol is nothing. That is an operator which you want to overload. Let's suppose you want to overload plus operator, you need to write plus. Symbol of plus. If you want to overload left shift operator, you need to write the symbol of left shift operator. And then what the new meaning you want to give, that you need to give in curly braces. So you can overload any operator, whatever you want. Now the question arises, can we overload all operators? No. There are few operators that can never be overloaded. Means you cannot specify a new meaning to that operator. What are those operators? So let me show you the list of that operator. There are 4 operators that can never be overloaded. You cannot specify a new meaning to an existing operator. These operators are dot, scope resolution, conditional operator, and size of. These 4 operators can never be overloaded. Rest all operator can be. So you do not need to remember what are the operators which can be overloaded, because all can be overloaded except these 4. Now, there are a lot of questions that how it will happen that I'll do plus and it will happen minus, or how you can apply an operator on user defined type. If you will understand my things, that is very easy to understand. Listen, I have created a class test. It has a private variable int count. Then you have created a constructor and initialize the value count. Forget about void operator plus plus function. Then there is a function display. You are displaying the value of count. Now come on to the main function. You have created an object of test class t. You are writing plus plus t, and that will give error because you cannot apply plus plus operator, any operator, onto the user defined type. Now, what you want? You want to apply it, and when you will write this, the value of t should increase. For this, you need to overload it. So what was the syntax of overloading? Return type. So I have written void. Then I have written operator because the name of function is operator. Now you need to give the symbol which operator you are going to overload. You are overloading plus plus operator. Then inside bracket you are writing what you want to do. You want to do count equals to count plus 1. If you will write here count equals to count minus 2, when you will write plus plus t, the value of count will be decreased to 2. If you will write here count equals to count multiply by 3, if you will write plus plus t, the value of count will be multiplied by 3. Now, when you will write plus plus t, what will happen? Actually, t is an object. And now, if you will understand, plus plus is not an operator right now. That is the name of function. Now, name of function which is defined in the public portion of the class. So when you will write plus plus t, compiler will understand it t dot plus plus. So actually it is calling the plus plus function by using the t. And the value of count will be changed when you will call t dot display, it will show you 6. Very simple. You can overload any operator. Here I have overloaded a unary operator plus plus and provided a special meaning, a new meaning to the plus plus operator. So I am applying it here on the object and I just want to do plus 1. While you will practice it, I am recommending you that you can do it minus, multiplication, division, or whatever you want to do. And when you will write plus plus t, that will happen whatever you have done. So these are the things that you need to remember while you are performing operator overloading. Operator overloading always allow you to redefine the way operator works for the user defined type only. It cannot be used for built-in type. So for integer, you cannot perform plus and it will happen minus. Two operator equal to and ampersand are already overloaded by the default in C++. For example, to copy object of the same class, you can directly use equals to operator. So I said you copy constructor is by default given by the C++. Operator overloading cannot change the precedence and associativity of the operator. And there are 4 operators which cannot be overloaded. The list I have shown you in the previous slide. Now you can overload binary operator also. So let's take an example. I have taken a class A which has a member X. Then I have created a constructor. The body of constructor is blank. You can leave it. Then there is a parameterized constructor. So you are looking constructor is overloaded here. There is a default constructor. There is a parameterized constructor. And whatever the parameter you are accepting, you are assigning it to X. Then you have created operator function plus, means I am going to overload plus operator, which is receiving an object as your argument. Why object? I'll tell you. And whatever you want to perform, you have done inside the function. Now, look at the main method. You have created object A1, you have created object A2. For both object, parameterized constructor will be called, and you are writing A1 plus A2. Why you have received one or argument in the operator function? First question is this. Why you have received object as your argument? Second question is this. Now listen. Again, the name of function is plus here. When you are writing A1 plus A2, what compiler is understanding? Compiler is understanding A1 dot plus and A2 is passing as your argument. Now, when you are calling this plus function with A1, the value of A1 plus function will automatically get. For example, like in previous case, there is a class student, there are 2 functions get and display. You are calling display function with S1. The value of S1 will automatically display. So the value of A1 will automatically get to the member function, but A2 it will not receive. How the reference of A2 will be get? So you are passing A2 as your argument. A1 value, because plus function is going to be called by A1, the value of A1 it will automatically receive. But the value of A2 it will not get. So A2 you are passing as your argument. And then whatever you have done inside that plus function, that will perform. I am repeating again, when you are writing A1 plus A2, it means A1 dot plus function is called and A2 is passed as your argument. That means the value of A1 will automatically get by the plus function, because you are calling the plus function with the A1. You are writing A1 dot. But A2 it will not receive automatically. So for A2 you need to pass it as an argument, and hence you have passed it as an argument in the function and A2 value has been received. So that's why you have write there x plus A2 dot x. That means x was of A1 and second x was of A2. So that's why you have written A2 dot. and whatever you have done there, that is displayed as a output. So what I'll request, please perform unary and binary operator overloading and do some experiment also. Whatever you want to do, please perform some experiment of your choice. Please practice it. So thank you very much. We'll see some more about operator overloading in the next sessions. Thank you.